like a superhero. For the love of God, wasn't homework enough? Wes wasn't even sure what PTA stood for, but when he found out, he was going to show up at a meeting and solve the mystery of who was behind these crazy-ass something days. He or she probably had fangs and a maniacal laugh. He sighed and rested his head on the fridge a moment before focusing on Schedule 2, aka the almighty food rotation. There was a local group of women called the Just Us League, and they'd taken it upon themselves to bring him and Laura labeled containers of food when they found out about his situation. At first, he'd been pleased as hell to inform them he didn't need charity, but he had just enough humility to admit they'd be eating pizza every night without the meals. Not to mention, the Just Us League organizer was Bethany Castle, and Wes didn't turn down chances to be in her vicinity. No, sir. Only an idiot would. He might have taken a few hits to the noggin after being tossed off the backs of some angry bulls, but Wes wasn't a fool. He knew a 10 when he saw one. Bethany was a 15. Which brought him to the third schedule, childcare. It was written in Bethany's handwriting, and he ran his finger over the neat feminine letters now, smiling over her color-coded system of deciding which Just Us League member would babysit Laura until he got home from work each day. She was never on the schedule herself, of course. Kids weren't exactly her area of expertise. Join the club, gorgeous. What were her areas of expertise? Turning him on and driving him nuts. And she excelled at them. Good thing he was an expert at driving her nuts right back. Which brought Wes to his fourth and final schedule, work. Starting Monday morning, he'd have the opportunity to get under Bethany's skin on an extended basis. When Wes landed in Port Jefferson last month, he'd had just enough construction experience on his resume to land a gig with the local house-flipping gods, Brick and Morty. Their next project happened to be located right across the street from Bethany's house. Yes, sir. Come Monday morning, he would be driving Bethany nuttier than ever. Bring it on. Uncle Wes! Laura shouted over an infomercial about revolutionary mops. Apple juice! Damn, kid. What did your last maid die from? He drawled, prying open the fridge and taking out the yellow and gold container. Do you want Cheerios? He called over his shoulder. Don't wait for me to sit down to ask. Tell me now. 'Kay. Cheerios. A smile played around his mouth as he took down a bowl, dumping in a handful of dry cereal. He might be a far cry from the ideal father figure, but he had this kid's quirks down to a science. They would need to begin figuring out her outfit by 7 o'clock, or she would panic and melt down. He frowned, trying to remember if he threw her favorite pink jean shorts into the washer. Apple juice! His niece shrieked from the living room. Coming! He droned, walking to the couch and handing her the cup before wedging the small bowl of Cheerios between her knees. Don't spill. This isn't my couch. Laura sent him an uneasy glance, and Wes cursed inwardly. Why had he gone and said that? She didn't need the reminder her parents had split and left her in the care of a clueless bachelor. Wasn't Wes being here in their place reminder enough? After the failure of his sister's relationship, she'd called him claiming to need a breather from her responsibilities, including motherhood. With no childcare experience to speak of, he'd gotten on a plane in San Antonio and flew to New York, only to realize this shit was complicated. Raising a child was a damn sight more than providing food and shelter. It also involved a fair amount of mind-reading, multitasking, and patience, all on a very small quantity of sleep. Good thing Wes was only there to fill in the gap until his sister decided to be a mother again and came home. Just until I get my act together, she'd said. But a month had come and gone without so much as a text. Still, Laura didn't need him reminding her their arrangement was temporary. Wes sat down beside Laura and tucked her into his side. He waited a few minutes, but she didn't eat a single Cheerio, making his stomach sink. His dumb comment was just another prime example of his inability to do this. To be here, attempting to be a child's caregiver. Knowing what would distract her and get her spirits back up, he snuck a Cheerio and popped